my most valuable tools. Hardware, and it's getting hard to find them for some reason, but they used to be real cheap and real easy to find, and I use them for everything. So if you just start looking at your piece, you're seeing where you're getting some nice flows. Say we're doing this for a dance and we want something soft. And you know what I was thinking with those chairs out there? If you did something like this behind it, it would be so cool. Okay, so I'm going to do a pleat on the side, and I'm looking at this because I want to bring it up. So there's one. And all I did was those pleats and clamp it. And then I look at the same height. Oh, maybe. It's going to take more because I got one on the side. Alright, we'll do it together. There. That's good. Let's do another one. So instead of just having a flat backdrop behind your people, they're all dressed up in their evening clothes, or their prom dresses, or whatever. What we've got now is a posing area. What we got now is a posing area. It's perfectly flat here. Almost. Yeah, it is. Now, one thing I got to keep reminding you is I'm short. So I can't raise this to the level you're used to working at. You have to kind of think a little bit taller for me on the backdrop. Otherwise, I'm going to be up and raising it and dropping it all night long and drive you crazy. Okay, so now we have this space to work with. You can put one person in here. You could do a couple, and one would be there, and one would be catching this. If you wanted, we'll leave that now. You have this nice soft space to work with. That's some beauty. And if you step back, place your people. Can you see places where you could put people there? If you had a prom and a couple, where would you put them? What would you do with them? I think that's soften this. Now, there's another thing you can do. If it's a holiday dance, and you're using, say, a dark backdrop, you can go down to Joann Fabric, or this is just a product that I make and sell. But if you want to do a holiday thing, or you just want to use a holiday color, you can do that too. When I'm using a long thing, a garland or like this, I fold it so that I get the middle, because otherwise you're going to end up with one long strand over here and a short strand over there. So this is the middle. And I always do like a little temporary thing. I'm going to have to lower it.
Is that like a gauze-like material?
This is cotton gauze, yep. It's like the old kitchen gauze. And it's actually made for hospital wear. And it's going to have to, oh. Now I can reach it. Okay. So this is the middle of the material. I'm kind of picking the middle of the stand, just so that I'll know where it belongs. That's the right one. There we go. Now, any kind of thing that you're working with, flatten it out. And even though my stuff has the hems all, the edges all hemmed, so there's no strings, I still roll them under. Any material that you're working with where there's going to be an edge hanging out, take a second and just flip the ends, the top and bottom or whatever, underneath, and that'll save you from messing with it later on. And that works too if you're posing it on somebody, if you're doing those glamour shots with it, you know, some slinky kind of material. Take a second and just take that edge and flip it under. And then what we can do is we can follow this line. Play with this and see what happens. Flatten it out. Flip the edges under. I'm trying to follow this drape. Did I go under it? No, I went over it. I didn't go under it. draw it up with a clip. You could do a flower thing there, which there's a real cool trick here too. Carry around a couple of mason jar lids. Take them off your pickle jars, put them in your camera kit. Because these are the best tools for draping that you can possibly have, and they don't cost you anything, you just steal them from the kitchen. You take the top of the ring, the top part, and put it against the material. In this case, I'm going to move that up away for a minute. Top of the ring against the material, decide where you want it to gather. I want to be right underneath that middle. Pull the material through the ring, and I'm bringing it from the bottom on this one until you get a lump of it. Nice drape already, huh? Okay, now the reason the top is against the material is if you take this little piece, now go to where the stress is. On this one the stress is here and here. So you go there, you take a small piece of material and you tuck it on that flat ring that is the top of the jar ring, and you do one on the opposite side. Take a piece of material, stuff it under the ring, voila, it locks. Now it starts a nice soft drape. If you use a clamp or a rubber band, what you're going to get is this to start with. You can't put somebody right here and have a nice soft drape because it's going to be tight and kinky. This is nice and soft just to start with. If you want it in the picture and you want it to look pretty, anybody can do this. You flatten out the middle and stick your finger in it. It's real simple. Then, if you want it to be pretty, you're doing the prom, buy candle rings. Plastic ones, they're harder to find now. You may have to go on the internet. They don't have them at Michael's and stuff anymore. You cut them in one place, and they fit on the ring. Is that not beautiful? It's so easy. If it's Christmas, you go down and you get a bunch of little glittery things with red and green in it. You get some stars or some spangles. You hang them down the middle. If it's a prom and the thing is Mardi Gras, you get some Mardi Gras beads. You make this. You do some ribbons. Throw a mask on it. Voila! Okay. This we can soften. Put it off the top. Kind of like that. Actually, I'm thinking if you left it going up there, it wouldn't be in the picture, but it would take the material out. Yeah. I like that. Haven't done it that way before. Now here we're crossing lines. I made this a little bit tighter too. Let's flatten it out. Take the top part, hang it up, and then take the bottom part. That's the top part. Hold it under, and if you do that first, I'm going to get close to it, and then the bottom, you got yourself a softer look. Okay, on this one, I'm not actually following these lines, but I could. If you want to follow these drape lines, we'll just change where we're going to clamp it up there. But what I'm thinking of is the beautiful soft things you have to play with. Here you've got all kinds of action going on. If this was higher, you would have all these interesting little drapes to play with. And again, think about something like those beautiful chairs out there in front of something that's soft and drapey. I am seeing that on TV now so often it's unbelievable. If you watch when they interview people now, look what's behind them. And lots of times it's just a soft piece of material that's been clamped in a few places to make a nice soft drape for the lights to hit it. It's very simple. So, and speaking of lights, depending on where you put your lights on this, you could have a whole lot of series of different looks. If you hit it sideways, every time that light hits it, it's going to create a dark fold. If you do that with a gel, these things when you gel them turn to velvet. So if you gel them from the front, this would turn whatever color that you're using, but it goes very velvety. If you put the gel behind it and shoot it through the material about 2 feet away, it's going to like glow like a church window. So you can create all kinds of effects with just your lights and not even changing your set. Okay, so that's one real simple play around kind of thing you could do with some scarves, dress things up. Let's try another one.